Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how I make soft mithai. Now this soft mithai is something that we usually have on Eid day, and I know that they have it on Diwali too, but I'm not certain if they make it the same way that we do. So here's how I make it. First, I'm gonna add my butter to my flour and I'm just gonna grind it up with my hands until it's like breadcrumbs basically. Now you can do this with a cake mixer if you want, with a paddle attachment, and just put it to mix until it's like breadcrumbs. When my butter and my flour mixture resemble fine breadcrumbs, I'm just gonna add my baking powder, my sugar, my coconut, and my spices to this, and I'm gonna mix that up together also. When that's completely mixed together, I'm gonna add my milk a little at a time. Now you don't want your dough to be too sticky, so you don't want to add it all at once. You just want to add a little at a time until everything is incorporated together. If you're following my ingredients direct, this is the amount of liquid that you'll definitely use. But if you're using the packet coconut and not the freshly grated coconut, you're going to need a little bit more milk. That's because the freshly grated coconut already has that moisture inside of it. You can basically squeeze it and milk is going to come out, but because you're using the coconut flakes in the packet, that has no liquid inside. So when I'm finished mixing my ingredients together, I'm just going to cover it with a damp cloth and allow it to rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. You're going to roll your dough out. I am not rolling my dough on a floured surface because I don't want, when my mithai is frying, for that flour to sink to the bottom and burn. I don't want burnt mithais. But you can, if your dough is sticking, you can lightly flour it, not too much, just lightly flour your surface. I'm using a pizza cutter to cut my dough, but you can definitely use a knife. I'm really not being like, I gotta get it perfect because it's just for me and my kids, so don't have to be perfect. Sometimes I usually have my kids get their cookie cutter and cut it out with their cookie cutter and in all different types of shapes, and that's how they help me do it. But yeah, this is the shape that I'm cutting it in. And this is the shape the mithai is usually in also. We're just gonna cut it diagonally and get that nice shape. Even though my shape isn't perfect, but it's still gonna taste the same. When I'm finished here, I'm just gonna add my oil to my pan and I'm gonna allow that to heat. Now I don't wanna add my mithai to the oil when it's not hot enough, because I don't want it to oil soak. You really don't want a soggy, oily mithai. Oh, that's nasty. So if you want, you can just test out one at a time to see when it's ready. So now that my oil is hot, I'm just gonna fry this on medium to high heat until it's golden brown. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna constantly stir this because I don't want one side to be dark and one side to be light, and I want it to be cooked evenly. So I'm just gonna give it a turn every now and again. So I've had people ask me if this soft mithai and the Trinidadian mithai, if it's the same. No, it's not. It's definitely not the same. The Trinidadian mithai, it's called a korma, and they don't add any coconut to theirs. They don't add any baking powder to theirs. But we Guyanese, at least, I know the way I make it, we add baking powder and we add coconut. Maybe some people might make it different. If you do make it different, leave a comment below and let me know. And another thing I don't do, most people add aniseed to their mithai, and I absolutely disgusted by the taste of aniseed. I hate aniseed. I don't like it, and all growing up, I hated aniseed in bread. Like, oh, don't give that to me at all. At all. So I just omit the aniseed completely, and I use cardamom, cinnamon, and my nutmeg. That's good enough for me. So whilst my mithai is frying, you guys can go ahead and hit the subscribe button, Let me know in the comments if you do try my recipe, how it comes out, and let me know what you'd like me to make next. I'm thinking about making barfi next, but let me know what you guys would like to see me make. Now that my mithai is almost finished or is about to be finished, I'm just gonna start cooking my syrup. Now remember, when you're making these kinds of syrup, it's equal parts water, equal parts sugar. Same amount of water you put, same amount of sugar you're gonna put. So I'm just using 1 cup of water and 1 cup of sugar. That's enough for the 1 pound of mithai that I'm making. And I like to add some ginger to my syrup when it's boiling because it gives it a little kick, if you understand what I mean. And of course you're gonna add your cinnamon. Now you're gonna just allow that to boil until it thickens up. And one of the way I test this to see if it's finished, I do either of two things. I either check it, put a spoon in it, stir it, and then take my finger, slide it across the middle of the spoon, and if it's done, the syrup isn't gonna go back together in the spoon. I don't understand if you know what I mean. Maybe I'll show it here. I'm not sure if I did, but let's wait and see. I'm sure I did test it out that way, so maybe a little way down when it's almost done, you'll see. So keep watching to see how I test it to see when my syrup is finished. At this point is where I'm going to test my syrup to see if it's finished with my spoon. Now you're going to slide your fingers in the middle, and if the syrup reaches back in the middle where you slid your fingers, it's not done. If it stays separated, it's done. And another way I'm testing it is with this water, some cold water. When you put it in the water and it just disappears, it's not done. But if you see it forming like little balls at the bottom or like a clump in the bottom, it's definitely done. So my mithai here, my syrup here is finished, so I'm just gonna mix it up with my mithai. And you want to continue mixing this until it forms that nice white coating that I love. Like, oh yeah, that nice white coating. You're gonna continue mixing and mixing. Have patience, it's gonna mix in. So let's wait. It's getting there. It's getting there. And it's finally there. So this is what my mithai looks like when it's finished, and oh my god, it tastes so good. Like, look at that. Look at that beauty. Like, oh, who doesn't want to just dig into that and eat it? Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.